finishing my MD degree, and it was clinical research. It was clinical practice. All my basic science credits were accepted, so I
Sure.
spent another year and a half in doing my clinical rotations, and I received my MD degree from there. So I have both an MD degree, and I'm licensed in several countries as an MD, and I'm licensed in several states in the United States as a DL. And so,
That's your background then.
that's my background.
Great.
I'm board certified in several specialties, and I've
Okay.
published, hundreds of articles, probably, 37 books, I believe, in print as well, and also been actively involved in clinical research and some bioscience research as well.
Okay, well, thank you very much for kind of clearing that up, that history. I also have a kind of an interesting question here. Many people are familiar with Lex, the wonder dog that lived 30% longer than he might have otherwise, and attributed to an anti-aging regimen that you had put him on. And someone wanted to know about, now this happened back in 1991, right, that you began Lex's anti-aging protocol or program.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and one of our members wanted to know if you had Lex, the Airedale, once again now in 2008, how would you change his anti-aging protocol? This person particularly wanted to know because what has come up now is such things as resveratrol, and there are some curcumin, and some xenobiotics like NTDH and algebrium. Uh, he wanted to know, would you still use PDN and hydrogen for Lex? What are a couple of the things you might change nowadays with, after 15 years have passed? What type of supplements are more effective now?
Well, I think resveratrol has a good story associated with it, and I think I would definitely. Well, I'm using resveratrol myself.
Sure.
And I think CoQ10, but the newer CoQ10 ubiquinone formulations have a much better story associated with them. There are some synthetic antioxidants that I think are very promising, and that I might be interested in using with him as well. I also believe that it's not just oxidation, but inflammation. Inflammation is a tremendously
pro-aging process in the body.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I believe it's associated with many degenerative conditions, and we're just coming to understand that now. So ACE inhibitor drugs seem to have a beneficial effect on inflammation and on cytokine production within the body, and keeping cytokines low seems to have, I believe, will have some beneficial effect in the future. Also, it's amazing. The American diet, about 70% of the fast food we have in America is polluted with GMO organisms.
Yeah.
Or contaminated, or whatever you want to say. Maybe polluted is a little bit strong, but it's the wrong choice. But certainly, GMO organisms are in at least 70% of the fast food, and I think by extension, if you look at non-fast foods, you're looking at almost 60% of foods that you buy in the supermarket that have some degree of GMO products in them. And there is tremendous controversy going on in the nutrition realm right now about GMOs being pro-inflammatory and having other unbeknownst effects on the body, including potentially direct effects on genetic expression, at least within the intestine.
Hmm. So,
So avoiding GMO foods, I think,
would be something
really,
that
I would do it for my dog. I don't know what I did for me, because we tend to take better care of our pets than we do ourselves.
It does seem that way sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So that's a couple of things. Anyway, you mentioned that resveratrol, but also if you had to do an anti-aging program for Lex again, you'd probably get him the best organic food that you possibly could.
I certainly would. I certainly would move in that direction.
Oh.
Other things that I think are promising right now are cleansing of the blood. Now, this is not something you can do easily for dogs or even for yourself, but there are clinics that are starting out that are using extracorporeal blood filtration um, for ultraviolet radiation of the blood and or ozone therapy of the blood, which is designed to take down stealth organisms that are floating around in our bloodstream, and also
Isn't that going to kill the Isn't that going to kill the white blood cells as well?
apparently not. Apparently not. These centers that are doing this therapy. There's a center in Texas that's doing it for people with heart failure. There seems to be a beneficial effect to stimulating regenerative processes within the body as well. So you have many different effects with external corporal ozone therapy, and I think that's very promising. That's something that I'm looking into right now. We're looking for speakers to talk at the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine in Orlando, specifically on that topic. There are centers overseas in Europe and in Cuba and in Russia that have been doing ozone therapy, external corporeal circulation with ozone therapy, for going back 20 years now, with reports of very profound effects.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. I mean, I hadn't heard about this before, but ozone is a caustic form of oxygen.
A poison is only a poison at the right concentration.
Well, I suppose you're right.
It's like anything else.
Yeah.
It's like aspirin is very, it can be very toxic if you're a bacteria or if you're a roundworm or a slug. But I mean, you take one aspirin, you take one aspirin with a meal, every 3 days, and it can have a beneficial effect on the circulatory system in humans.
Well, I suppose so. Yeah.
So the detail is in the dose.
Yeah, I suppose. I just want to also, you mentioned that you do have a conference coming up in Orlando. I have a little graphic up here. It's the 25th to the 27th, correct, in Orlando?
Actually, it starts the 22nd.
It does start.
The 22nd is that's the pre-conference, but the 25th, the 26th, 27th is the main conference. We do physician training protocols. And a fellowship program and a board certification program. There's
so the first couple days. The first couple days of the conference are basically for physicians and kind of training and informational in that regard. But then the 25th through the 27th, that'd be more of a public.
It's mostly for professionals.
Oh, okay.
Certainly the public is invited as well. But certainly people who are listening to this show could appreciate what's going on at these conferences.
Oh, I'm sure.
Not the hands-on training material is really for physicians, and you're right. The 22nd through the 24th are strictly for licensed professionals.
I see. Okay. Now I see that someone else has asked a question about. Do you have any personal recommendations as far as where products, supplements, and that can be purchased?
I buy from probably 50 different manufacturers. I try and find the best of the best, and I don't have one particular source that I like. There's a lot of good nutraceutical manufacturers out there. I almost wish there was a one-stop shop where I could say